I saw this funny article. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so the title of the article is Call of Duty enlists AI to eavesdrop on voice chat and to help ban toxic players starting today. So this was published almost 2 weeks ago. So they're saying that Call of Duty is doing what other online games are doing by listening to in-game voice chat. And you know how the Call of Duty in-game voice chat is, my fellow gamers. And it's using AI to assist the process. So they're listening to you using AI, and they're using a voice moderation tool called ToxMod in the Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and the upcoming Modern Warfare 3. So they're doing beta testing in North American servers, so 12 days ago. And their goal is to be able to identify in real time and enforce against toxic speech, including hate speech, discriminatory language, harassment, and more. They want to moderate COD's voice chat. What? I get that people get offended and super butthurt playing COD or whatever, but if you don't want to be, you can always turn voice chat off. That's an option, right? You don't have to listen to sometimes abusive, sometimes very funny um voice chat from people, you know? Some people have anger issues, sure, and they like rage at you when you're not playing very well, but you can always turn it off. It doesn't really matter. So they said they want to be proactive voice chat moderation, but they also clarified that ToxMod AI won't have the free reign to issue player bans. It basically, their job is only to observe and report, not punish. So they only submit reports about toxic behavior, type of behavior, and rated level of severity based on an evolving model. So Activision will determine how it will enforce voice chat moderation violations. So basically, the AI complaints or voice chat complaints will be judged by a human before any action is taken. And so they say that Modulate says that its tool, Modulate, I think, developed ToxMod. That tool is able to analyze tone and intent in speech to determine what is and isn't toxic. So they're now trying to police your speech by analyzing your tone and intent. So not only is it, oh, what words you say, it's the tone and the intention. Good luck proving intention. It's nuts that you're even going down this route, you know? This is so like George Orwell 1984 BS. So I thought this paragraph here was hilarious, right? Because it starts talking about ethnicity, and you're like, oh no, here we go. Terms like the N-word. This is such a funny paragraph. So this is a quote, direct quote. While the N-word is typically considered a vile slur, many players who identify as black or brown have reclaimed it and used it positively within their communities. If someone says the N-word and clearly offends others in the chat, that will be rated much more severely than what appears to be reclaimed usage that is incorporated naturally into a conversation. So they're also going to consider your race and background, I guess. And It's, dependent if the N word clearly offends others in the chat, and then that will affect the severity of that report. That's crazy, man. Like, talk about policing speech. Now you're going into like race what do you call it, I guess discriminating depending on your race. Oh, you can't say that word because you're this race, and we can't say this word because of your race. If you're so offended by the N word, turn off your voice comms. You don't have to use it, you don't have to listen to that. Easy solution, right? No one needs to be abused here, right? But if people want to joke around, I don't think you should stop them. I think that's really extreme to be, suggesting such a broad and wide-ranging rule, because like who determines what's toxic? Who determines the tone? Who determines the intent? You're not God, right? You can't read people's minds and you can't read their hearts, right? It's very difficult to prove intent. And the fact that people think it's okay to police people's speech like this in gaming, which is, one of the only avenues for people to freely express themselves, especially guys. They don't have many spaces to hang out these days in person. It's quite hard for guys to socialize, and online gaming is a big social outlet for them. Why are we, policing speech? And this is such effeminate behavior. And if you're a dude trying to police people's speech, you're a simp. I have no respect for you. You gotta man up and stop being such a B word, okay? I don't want to cuss on this stream. But sometimes some of the behavior from feminine dudes drives me up the wall. Holy moly. You guys are so cowardly and so easily offended. If someone calls me the C word because I'm Asian, I'm going to start laughing because I think it's funny. Like, I can't control what someone else says. I can only control how I respond, yeah? What, who do I think I am if I think it's my job to police how someone else talks? Right? I'm not God. I'm not going to play God. It's wrong for anybody to be doing that. Sure, there are some like sketchy lines that can be drawn. Like if someone's making a death threat, and it sounds pretty serious, like they actually have the means to, harm you, or they know where you live and whatever, and they're doxing you, then I can see why the speech there might be considered like incitement or threat of violence and stuff like that. But those are, already laws in a lot of countries that you can't, do that, which I think is fair enough. But at the same time, it's also like, well, actions and speech are two different things. If someone actually hasn't committed, as in done the action of a crime, or can you just, punish them like that? Like, you gotta really think about, I guess, what you constitute a crime.